His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, issued Edict 61 of 2023, transferring an Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, based on a proposal by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and following the approval of the Cabinet. The edict stipulates that Bahrain's ambassador to Thailand, Muna Abbas Mahmood Radhi, shall be transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. His Royal Highness also issued Edict 62 of 2023, appointing a director in the Ministry of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf, based on a proposal by the Minister of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf. The edict stipulates that Ali Amin Abdullah Al-Rayas shall be appointed as Director of the Religious Affairs Directorate at the same ministry. His Royal Highness also issued Edict 63 of 2023, appointing a director at the Ministry of Education, based on a proposal by the Minister of Education. The edict stipulates that Dr. Sheikh Abdullah Mohammed Mafiz shall be appointed as Director of the Strategic Planning Directorate at the Ministry of Education. His Royal Highness also issued Edict 64 of 2023, appointing directors in the General Secretariat of the Higher Education Council, based on a proposal by the Minister of Education. The edict stipulates that the General Secretariat of the HEC shall appoint each of the following: Dr. Zainab Ali Habib Al-Tuk, Director of the Research and Policy Directorate; Dr. Jihan Ali Ahmed Al-Manai, Director of the Academic Services Directorate; and Dr. Hussein Musin Hamid Al-Arayad, Director of the Accreditation and Licensing Directorate. His Royal Highness also issued Edict 65 of 2023, amending some provisions of the Edict 66 of 2022, restructuring the Council for Regulating the Practice of Engineering Professions, based on a proposal by the Minister of Works and following the approval of the Cabinet. The edict stipulates the text of Clause 3 of Article 1 of Edict 66 of 2022 to restructure the Council for Regulating the Practice of Engineering Professions shall be replaced with the following text: Engineer Beda Mohammed Al-Mansouri, Member. The representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, issued Edict No. 3 of 2023 regarding the restructuring of the Board of Directors of the Bahrain Paralympic Committee, and the decision stipulated the following review of the law on social and cultural associations, clubs and private bodies working in the youth and sports institutions, promulgated by Decree No. 21 of 1989 and its amendments and Resolution No. 1 of 2019 regarding the formation of the Board of Directors of the Bahrain Paralympic Committee, and based on the presentation of the Secretary-General of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, the following has been decided. The Board of Directors of the Bahrain Paralympic Committee will be reconstituted in its current session, 2023 to 2024, headed by Sheikh Mohammed bin Dej Al Khalifa, with the membership of Numan Rashid Al Hassan, Khalid Mohammed Al Hassan, Sheikha Dr. Hessa bint Ali Al Khalifa, Dr. Abdul Rahman Al Sayed Ahmed Abdul Jalil, Dr. Sosan Haji Kawi, Sheikh Khalid bin Hamid bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, May Musin Haji, Sheikh Sultan bin Daj Al Khalifa, Fajr Ali bin Ali, Ahmed Khalid Al Arifi, and a representative of the Players Committee. The entity stipulated in Clause 11 of the preceding paragraph shall determine who will represent it in the Board of Directors. The Secretary-General of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports and those concerned shall implement the decision, and it shall come into effect by the date of its issuance. The first Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority, the GSA, and President of the Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, received the Minister of Education, Dr. Mohammed bin Mubarak Juma, in the presence of GSA CEO, Dr. Abdurrahman Asker. His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad affirmed the importance of schools as the place for discovering the talents of students as individuals and in team activities, and a starting point for various clubs and teams for both males and females. He stressed the importance of coordination between the GSA and the Ministry. Sheikh Khalid praised the Ministry's efforts in organising sports activities and highlighting athletic talents. The meeting discussed the implementation of joint programmes and initiatives to improve school sports activities. For his part, the Minister commended His Highness Sheikh Khaled's efforts in advancing the sports sector through the GSA's initiatives and programmes and stressed the Ministry's keenness for further cooperation to support the sports sector. The first Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority, the GSA, and President of the Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khaled bin Hamad Al Khalifa, received the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Abdullah bin Abdel Fakhro, in the presence of GSA CEO Dr. Abdurrahman Asker. His Highness Sheikh Khaled praised the Ministry's efforts in promoting the national economy by involving all vital sectors, including the sports sector, to achieve the Kingdom's comprehensive development goals. They discussed the executive framework of the nominal sponsorship project for sports facilities and a continuation of the Al Farish Stadium project in cooperation with the private sector, in line with the rules and regulations applied by the Ministry within the framework of integration and joint coordination between the GSA and the Ministry to support the sports sector. The Minister expressed appreciation for His Highness's efforts to promote the sports sector and stressed the Ministry's keenness to be an active partner in providing all the necessary facilities to implement GSA's projects in cooperation with the private sector. The Minister of Foreign and Head of the National Human Rights Commission, Dr. Abdul Latif Al-Ziani, highlighted the 2022 EU Human Rights Report, which commended Bahrain's record and cited the Kingdom's key achievements in this field. He stressed Bahrain's commitment to respecting and promoting human rights and protecting the dignity of human beings without any discrimination as to gender, origin, language, religion or creed. He highlighted Bahrain's strides within the development momentum led by His Majesty the King, who laid the foundations of democracy and parliamentary life. Dr. Al-Ziani commended His Majesty the King's role in promoting the values of tolerance and peaceful coexistence between religions, civilizations and cultures, supported by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. He reiterated Bahrain's firm commitment to continuing human rights strides in line with its long-standing values and constitutional pillars that uphold human rights and dignity on the basis of equality and respect. He looked forward to increasing cooperation with the EU in the human rights, political and developmental fields, commending the outcomes of the 6th Informal Human Rights Dialogue, held on October the 27th, 2022 in Manama, which resulted in many joint projects and activities. The Minister of Health, Dr. Jalila Hassan, met with a group of Bahraini youth as part of the second stage of the Future Bet programme, organised by the Bahrain Institute for Political Development, BIPA, in cooperation with the Ministry of Health in the presence of a number of officials. Dr. Jalila affirmed the Kingdom's keenness on supporting the youth and enabling them to utilise their energies and capabilities and to contribute effectively in serving society. The Minister noted that developmental policies adopted by Bahrain, led by His Majesty the King, and with the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, towards enabling Bahraini youth, resulted in enhancing their role in the comprehensive development process in the Kingdom. Dr. Jalila expressed thanks and appreciation to BIPA for the initiative that contributed to enhancing communication between the Bahraini youth and officials to exchange ideas and visions on the youth's aspirations and the government's public policies. The Information and E-Government Authority, the IGA, has been granted a silver level certificate from the Ministry of Health for its buildings in Isa Town, Jafar and Baharik, acknowledging them as health-enhancing work environments. This recognition comes after the IGA successfully met all the criteria outlined by the Ministry, which aims to establish health-promoting workplaces across diverse work sites. IGA Chief Executive Mohammed Ali Al-Qaid said that the IGA's adoption of a health-promoting work environment for its employees highlights the importance of offering employees the support they need to fulfil their tasks in an environment that safeguards the physical and mental well-being. Al-Qaid added that the Health and Occupational Safety Committee has raised health awareness levels through educational lectures, activities and sports events, and provided continual encouragement for good nutrition and physical activity. He commended the committee's persistent efforts in meeting the precise and comprehensive evaluation criteria set by the Ministry of Health, which led to the successful attainment of the silver level certificate. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in cooperation with the Information and E-Government Authority, launched the Electronic Consular Authentication Service through the national portal of the Kingdom of Bahrain, bahrain.bh. and the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which allows users to submit requests for authentication of issued documents from inside or outside Bahrain. The Undersecretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Consular and Administrative Affairs, Ambassador Dr. Mohammed Ali Bassad, affirmed the Ministry's continuous endeavour to provide the best consular services to all citizens and residents, explaining that the electronic consular certification service will use high-quality security features in accordance with best international practices.
In order to advance the achievements and elevate e-government programs to new horizons, the service of authentication of documents issued from the Kingdom of Bahrain or abroad was launched to provide electronic services effectively for all, and to proceed within the e-government strategy by directing and empowering government agencies to enhance their public services. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has created this service in addition to the Wajhati service to create new and effective channels of communication and make optimal use of the advanced infrastructure in the Kingdom of Bahrain, with the aim of reducing procedures and the time period for completing the service in line with the customer's priorities. To start with the service, it is required that the document issued in the Kingdom of Bahrain must include a seal and signature approved by the Ministry. The documents must be presented with the Authentication Service Application Form, a copy of the applicant's identity card, contact number, and the original documents required to be authenticated, provided that it is approved by the seal and signature of the competent authority, as the application will be completed within 1 working day, only from the date of its submission. Legislations and regulations necessary to ensure a safe electronic environment are developing in the Kingdom of Bahrain, as the e-government has so far provided more than 500 electronic services through the electronic portal, self-service platforms, and smartphone applications to reflect the clear vision in this field, which was applied to meet the needs and desires of citizens and residents of the Kingdom of Bahrain.
The President of the University of Bahrain, Dr. Fouad Al-Ansari, announced that the university has announced the admission results for the next academic year, 2023 to 2024. Al-Ansari stated that the university revealed the results of changing majors, stressing that the university sought to fulfil the largest number of students' wishes, according to the principle of competitiveness, which takes the cumulative average of students as the sole criterion for admission, in addition to the capacity of the academic programme. Al-Ansari stressed that the university was keen to complete the admission process as soon as possible and provide seats for those eligible. The Omani Bahraini Products Exhibition was opened in Salalah, which is organised by the Embassy of Bahrain in Oman and the Omani Bahraini Friendship Association. The exhibition, which will continue until the end of August, includes several corners, including a corner for perfumes and incense and another for handicrafts, in addition to a corner for traditional plastic arts, a corner for traditional costumes, and a corner for Omani honey and other products.